What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Mini TV Reviews. I am your host, Mo, and tonight, we're going to be doing something new. Y'all, I saw the trailer for this the other day, and I was like, yeah, we got to do this one. So this one is called It's All Her Fault. It's always her fault. Y'all, this one is on Peacock, okay? I'm assuming this is going to be a limited series. However, they did the thing that I hate that they do. And they released all the episodes at once, okay? So I ask that you indulge me, okay? Come along on this journey with me. If you decide to skip ahead, that's okay. You do you, get your binge watching out the way. Just no spoilers, y'all, okay? All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into this one, y'all. The synopsis for this episode is Marissa Irvine arrives to collect her son Milo from his first playdate, but the woman who answers the door isn't the mother she recognizes and doesn't have Milo, beginning every parent's worst nightmare. All right, y'all. This first episode was pretty good. Now, y'all know I do scene for scene. I actually took notes on this one, but y'all gonna get my reactions. Now, if I forget some of these names, y'all, please charge it to my head and not my heart, because I didn't look up the cast. But I got the gist of it, okay? Now, the show opens with a woman named Marissa. She is coming to pick up her kid from who we presume is Jenny's nanny's house. Okay. So Marissa had received a text from this lady named Jenny, this other mom named Jenny. She said, "Hey girl, Milo, is it okay if Milo come on his play date with my son Jacob?" And it was via text, y'all. But Marissa was like, "Yeah, sure." And so she was like, "Okay, great. They're going to hang out at such and such place. If I'm not there, my nanny should be. Her name is such and such such." Okay. Now, I don't remember the name that she gave at this particular point in time, but we just going to shoot for the stars and say Miriam. Okay. Because when Marissa has the door open up for her, we see that there is this older woman. She looks like she's about in her late 60s, early 70s. She looked like she could be a Miriam, y'all. Okay. Or a Kathleen. Or maybe a Catherine. Anywho. So Marissa was like, "Hey, so I'm here to pick up my son Milo." And she was looking around like, who? "I'm here to pick up my son Milo." Again, she looks around, yep, nope, there's no Milo here. It's just the little old me. And so Marissa keep looking at her phone. She stepped back, look at the address on the door. "Are you sure? Because this is the address that Jenny gave me to come and pick him up." "Well, I would be pretty sure if there was a kid in my house, but yeah." Okay. Clearly seeing that Marissa is very confused, befuddled, and 2 seconds away from panicking. Miriam, y'all, her instincts kick in, and she was like, "Hey girl, so I see that you got a lot going on up there. Come on in, okay? Come on in and we'll figure this out together." Thank you, Miriam. See, all she was missing was some warm milk and some cookies to make this thing just a tinge bit better for a split second, y'all. So Miriam invites her in and she starts asking all the right questions. "Okay, well, what's going on? And now, have you talked to your nanny? What if your nanny picked him up?" And so she was like, "Yeah, no, See, my nanny is finna get ready to go out of town for a couple of days, so it wouldn't be her. But she did try to call her, and she got the voicemail." "Okay, well, she's supposed to be going out of town. We gonna strike her off the list." "Okay, well, you said that the woman who texted you, the mom who texted you, her name was Jenny. Have you talked to her?" "Not outside of text." "Okay, well, let's just get Jenny on the phone." So she called Jenny and she get the boop, boop, boop. "The number you are currently dialing is no longer in service. You may hang up and try your number at another time." Okay, well, that's not going to work either. "Let's try to call Sarah, the class mom. Y'all know the one that is over the PTA and all of that stuff. Yeah, Sarah. Let's call her." So she calls Sarah And then she ends up explaining the situation to her. So Sarah ends up sending her Jenny's contact information. But before Sarah gets off the phone with Marissa, y'all, she sends Marissa into panic overload when she tells her, hey, so by the way, I know you said that Milo was supposed to be with Jacob, but that's impossible because Jacob is actually here with my kid on a play date today. Excuse me, what? You know what? I am so sorry. I couldn't hear you because my whole intestines just fell out of my body. What are you talking about, ma'am? What do you mean my son is not with your, like, what, where is he at? Somebody better start explaining something to me now. So she calls Jenny based off the contact that Sarah had sent over. And Jenny is swearing up and down that she didn't send her that text. Well, girl, I got it right here on my phone. What do you mean you didn't send it? Now, if she had been in her right frame of mind, clearly, if she would have stepped back and tried to text the phone number that she's on the phone with Jenny at right now, she probably could have did a side-by-side comparison in her text threads to see that that was not the same number. But she's not thinking right now, okay? And that's completely understandable. So Miriam has to step in and redirect her because clearly this is getting us nowhere and we've got a missing child to locate. Let's stay focused. So Marissa realizes that somebody must have picked them up because if nobody did, the school would have called her by now. So now she's getting upset. Okay, well, maybe. Slow down, girl. Maybe your husband picked them up. And so she was like, you know what? You're probably right. Let me just call him real quick and make sure that he's got him. So she calls him. And Peter says, no, girl, not me. I ain't got him. Nope, not your guy. So then she rushes home and she goes to go check in with a guy by the name of Brian. Now, we are not aware of who he is just yet, but just for future reference, Brian is Peter's brother. Side note, Brian has some sort of disability because he needs assistance with ambulating. Okay, he's got like one of those canes that you would use maybe if you've got like MS or something like that. Just in case that's relevant later, I just wanted to go ahead and put that in the mix now. So Peter shows up just as she's 2 seconds from hitting the floor, y'all. When I tell you I hate this for them, and it only gets worse when we find out in real time with Peter as they're talking to the officers that responded to the call that she never actually spoke with Jenny on the phone. Hell, she didn't even know if that was her real phone number. Because when they had sent out the parent call sheet earlier in the year, yeah, she hadn't transferred all them numbers over just yet. She hadn't saved it in her phone. Now, granted, I probably wouldn't have saved all them people's numbers in my phone neither because I don't know y'all like it and I don't want to get to know y'all like it. We here for, majority of the year, but still, I'm probably not going to see half of y'all outside the drop off and pickup line. Let's be real. So she just let her son go with a complete stranger. Because, let's be honest, like, she's definitely a stranger until you actually get to know her. But then they ask her, okay, so you didn't call her to verify that this was actually Jenny on the phone. You didn't go to the play date. Like, what did you do? And so then she tries to say that, her nanny was out of town and she's not used to doing things like this, but you're his mama. And listen, everybody don't have that maternal or paternal instinct. Like, you just don't. But in the same token, your kid is 5 years old. Like, he's new to this whole process. It's his first play date. You let him go with a random stranger that you had never met, all because you didn't want to leave work because you thought it was going to be fine. You didn't trust and verify. Now, granted, this would never be on any parent's bingo card. I get that. But girl, precautions. They're necessary at this point. So she ends up telling them that he does have an air tag on his backpack, but when they look it up, y'all, the air tag is offline. And my suggestion, which I guess I should probably practice what I preach, but I've heard that you don't put them in the backpacks because, I mean, the backpack can be discarded pretty quickly. You should put them in like the most common jacket that they wear or something like that, or maybe in their shoe if that's, whatever. Shoes change too, but sew it into the jacket or something. Do something better than a damn backpack. But either way, y'all, we here now, right? So Peter, despite having this look of just disgust, like, what the hell is wrong with you? Who did I marry? What is wrong with you? He's got that type of look on his face, y'all. He does his best effort, though. He tries his best to comfort his wife right now because he already know that she feel guilty, okay? Don't kick her while she down. But I'm telling you, y'all, I don't know how I will respond in that type of situation. Like, I don't know. So Jenny calls her husband, Richie, to make sure that he's on his way to go pick up their kids from the play date, right? And so I'm assuming that Richie might be a teacher of some sort or something like that because he's actually leaving school himself. And she could hear all the kids in the background and that and the third. And so she's emphasizing the importance of being on time to pick the kids up from the play dates because, them people don't have to take our kids with them. This is just a bonus. You do understand that, right? So it's always good to have leave a good impression for these people because you never know when you may need to utilize them again. And so he was like, all right, girl, I'm on the way. Damn. So before he gets off the phone with her, she mentions how she had received a weird phone call from Marissa saying how she had received a text from her that their kids were going to be on a play date together, but she never sent that text. But she's hoping and praying that everything is going to go well, that they find Milo pretty soon. And everybody seems to be pretty dismissive of what's going on, like the severity of the situation, aside from, of course, Marissa and Peter and them, but also aside from Jenny. Richie and Sarah just like, well, girl, I'm sure it'll blow all over. I'm sure this is something innocent. I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. We hear that multiple times. I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding, but Jenny is not so sure. Now, her next call is to Sarah, because she's wanting to let her know, hey, Richie's on his way. And then she brings it up again. And so Sarah takes this moment to try to be messy, right? I don't think I like Sarah. I don't. She's very pushy. She's passive aggressive. She's real nice, nasty. I don't like her. So Sarah takes this opportunity to try to be messy, right? Suggesting that maybe Anna did it. Maybe the nanny did it. But then she also poses this question to Jenny like, hey girl, so if that really did happen, why would whoever did this involve you? Why would they pin it on you? So Jenny was like, hey girl, I gotta go. He's on his way. Click. Now we rewind a few months to the beginning of the school year, and Sarah is leading like this parent introduction. She's got a whole syllabus for the whole year and events and all of these things that she's put on the calendar while the kids play. She's just trying to get everybody to see each other's faces. Okay, get real familiar because we all gonna be really involved. Ain't that right, y'all? So while she's talking to them, she mentioned something about an 80s, like a throwback Thursday. And so Marissa was like, hey girl, so what's the throwback Thursday? And she was like, oh, it's 80s themed. And Marissa made like this little snarky remark about how the kids were born in 2019. What the hell they know about the 80s? Wasn't even close, okay? So when she made the comment, Jenny had picked up on like what she was putting down, and so she started laughing. Now over there with the kids, y'all, Anna is watching Milo and she's trying to read off on this paperwork, and she's an immigrant and her English is not the best right now, but she's coming along when she runs into this girl named Carrie. Okay, Carrie is going to help her do all the things. Girl, you need me to look over that for you. You need me to give it a once over just to make sure everything is correct. And so she was like, yeah, girl, thank you so much for your help. So she ends up saying how Milo is the kid that she's responsible for, that she's watching, and she really loves him. He's a really good kid, this, that, and the third. It seems like they're going to be really good friends. Now, back to their house. Rissa's bestie slash business partner, Colin, stops by to support them. Now, side note, y'all, Colin is being played by Jay Ellis. Yes. I haven't seen him in a minute. So I wonder if he's going to be good or bad in this show. So Colin stops by to support them, and he tries to reassure her that everything is going to be okay. This is all an innocent mistake. If that was the case, Marissa says, then this innocent mistake would have been rectified hours ago. Milo has been missing at this point for about 3 to 4 hours. Okay, ain't got no phone calls, no nothing. Ain't heard nothing from the school. And they're still trying to get in contact with Milo's teacher, by the way. We also find out that Brian is Peter's brother, who I had told y'all about earlier, but he's staying in their guest house, okay? And then Peter ends up asking Brian, had he talked to their sister, Leah, and he was like, yeah, I talked to her. She should be on the way shortly. It doesn't seem like they have the best of relationships. Now, work is blowing both Peter and Marissa up. Peter has to take his call, but she actually ignores the call that comes through for work for her. Instead, she has Jay try to look into it because, again, they're not Jay. I'm calling him by his real name, Collins, because they're business partners. So while he does that, she attempts to call Anna again, but they then discover that Anna's phone has been at the house the entire time. Where the hell is Anna? And why did she leave her phone? Side note, y'all. Did y'all peep how Peter looked at his brother when his phone rung? Y'all, Brian's phone had rung and he was like, who is that? And he was like, it's the clinic. Did y'all peep how Peter looked at him? Everybody got secrets, y'all. Everybody hiding something. So Jenny has to run to a late night business meeting and try to get a new client, right? But she has to step out because her husband keeps blowing up her phone. So apparently their son wants her to come home to tuck him in, and so he puts him on the phone and he's like, Mommy, when are you coming home? And she was like, soon, baby, I promise. And he was like, is it gonna be before I go to bed? Yeah, absolutely. Are you gonna tuck me in, my favorite teddy? Yes, baby, Mommy's gotta go, but I really, really miss you, Mommy. Y'all, it's a 24-hour job. I'm sure she wanted to be like, Jacob, shut the hell up so I can go close out this client. Okay, I said I'm coming. Okay, I'm coming. And then I'm pretty sure she probably thinking, man, can you not handle that? Can you not handle that for one night? That's all I'm saying. So at the house, they're bagging Anna's phone up, right? When she actually pulls up. Turns out she was coming back to get it because she had realized that she had left it earlier. Now, Anna, what happened to you going out of town? Well, apparently their plans got changed to tomorrow, so they're leaving tomorrow. That's pretty coincidental. That's definitely going to raise some eyebrows, girl. So the police were able to finally get in contact with the school, or at least the teacher, right? Milo's teacher, that is, and find out somebody by the name of Carrie actually picked up Milo from school. Well, who the hell is Carrie? Might you be wondering. Y'all, it's the lady who was helping Anna at the beginning of the year. Okay. And she also happens to be Jenny's nanny. So she arrives home, right? She being Jenny. Jenny arrives home and she checks on her son first and foremost. We want to make sure he's good. We're going to tuck him into bed as promised. And we're going to go down here and be with the grown people. So she gets downstairs to talk to the police with Richie. And we learn that Carrie's only been there for the past 3 months. And it seems like she's, y'all, okay. Nannies are the people who get paid to watch the children and then they leave, right? An au pair is somebody who stays in the house with you. It seems like she's more of an au pair than she is a nanny, but anywho, little stuff. So she's been there for the past 3 months and she's 21 years old. And for the most part, she's pretty reserved. She's very quiet. She's very sweet, very mild and meek. She's really good with Jacob, aside from that one time that Jenny caught her looking like she was gonna cock her hand back like she was gonna hit Jacob. But it turns out it was just a fly. And so they was like, wait. Wait, girl, hold up. What did you just say? Rewind and say that just a little bit slower. So then she goes on to explain that she was out with them one day and she just happened to look up, y'all. And I guess, Carrie and Jacob had been talking, I'm not sure, but whatever type of way. She looked up and she saw Carrie cock her hand back like she was finna get ready to hit Jacob. So she hurried up and snatched him because she was trying to protect her kid. But then she was like, but I think that she was just swatting at a fly. Yep, you know what? I'm pretty sure she was just swatting at a fly. And so they're looking at her like, bitch, what? Are you sure? Where is Carrie? So at the house, Peter's sister Leah pulls up and real quick, because I'm not sure if this will come back later, but she had told Colin and Brian that she was coming from two different locations. I think she had told one of them that she was coming from her apartment, and then the other one she was like downtown or on the train or something like that. So that might come up later. But based off the conversation, it seems like she's the last person that people want to call in a crisis because she's just over the top. She's overly dramatic, it seems, but I assume that she might also be a lawyer or maybe something close to that type of profession because based off what they've told her as far as Milo's disappearance or kidnapping, if that's true what they've told her, Jenny may actually be liable for Carrie's actions for negligence. I was like, is that a thing? Is that for real? Side note again, y'all. Did y'all sense that there was something between Leah and Colin? Maybe a past relationship or something? It was just the way that they interacted with each other. Did y'all pick up on that? Maybe it's just me. So we rewind to 10 days prior and we find ourselves at a parent mixer. Y'all, this school is really doing it up big. I wonder what the tuition rate is because top shelf drinks before the school year started, or in between. But why are we having a parent mixer when the school year has already started? Are you just trying to butter everybody up so they can get you some money, Sarah? Y'all know that Sarah is head in the PTO and all of that stuff. So Jenny is talking to this dude named Victor, this parent named Victor, and he happens to be a stay-at-home dad. So he is giving them the philosophy that his son needs to see him do all of the things that more traditionally a woman would do around the house, like cleaning, cooking, taking, just all of those things, right? We need to be responsible. You need to be very independent because you don't want to be dependent on nobody, okay? Ain't nobody gonna hold you down like that forever, okay? And so they was commending him on the work that he's doing with his son. And so Sarah, she passively aggressively mentions to Jenny that there is this unspoken rule that parents who only have one kid are expected to volunteer more. And I was like, girl, what? So she verified that Jenny only had one kid. And so she was like, yeah. So she was like, hey, girl, so I was hoping that you would volunteer for some stuff coming up soon. And oh, by the way, it's sort of kind of like an unspoken rule that if you only have the one kid, that you would volunteer a little bit more because obviously the parents who have more than one kid have less time on their hands. And while I get it, don't force that on nobody. Okay? You don't know what else them people got going on in their life. You don't know if they're taking care of sick parents. You don't know if they got like this very stressful job. You don't know what's going on. So don't try to put that on her. I don't know if it's anxiety or sadness, y'all, but Jenny don't take that well. She goes to the bathroom and she starts to tear up, and I'm leaning towards the latter, that this is just sadness, because she cries. She cries in the bathroom, and I was like, Jenny, have you previously lost a child or something? Because I mean, Sarah can come off really strong. Um, but I would think that her just saying that, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. It would piss me off, but it wouldn't hurt my feelings to the point where I'm trying to cry. So I wonder what's with that. So she headed out, right? Jenny's finger ready to head out the bathroom when she runs into Marissa. And they both happen to have on the same daggone dress. This is cute, okay? We both cute, but Marissa likes Jenny's, get up a little bit better than hers. And so, Marissa, after a few seconds, can sense that something is wrong with Jenny, so she checks in with her. And so, long story short, y'all, they ended up venting and talking cash money about their husbands in the bathroom. Now, the bathroom is like a two-parter. You got like the place where you got chase lounges and all this stuff like that. You got a whole little love sofa over there, you know, little sectional. And then you have the actual bathroom where you go do business, right? And so, and powder your faces and all of that stuff. So they end up talking cash money about their husbands. And it seems like from their conversation that Jenny is just tired of being like the perfect parent. She's tired of carrying so much weight and responsibility on her shoulders. I'm not sure to what degree, but she just seems like she's just tired. She's tired of carrying the load, y'all. And so, I'm sure we'll dive into that a little bit later. So Marissa ends up offering to take her spot. Now, I know you said that Sarah had signed you up to volunteer, but what if I took your spot, girl? And so she's like, you would do that for me? Absolutely, I would do that for you, as long as you take this selfie with me and you agree to not let Sarah punk you out if she start asking questions later, because she can be aggressive. Okay? Don't bitch out. So they share a good laugh, and they finna get ready to bring it in for this pose for the selfie, right? But they point out, they make sure that we notice that bruise on Rissa's shoulder. Okay, but we're gonna circle back to that, I'm sure, sometime during the season. Now, over at Jenny's, they're searching Carrie's room, right? While they're searching her room, Jenny and Richie are talking. Okay, and she feels awful. She just feels so horrible for what's going on with Rissa and Peter and Milo. And so she wants to go over there and check on them, right? But Richie is very opposed to her doing that because, girl, do you know how bad that would look for us? Do you know that they're probably already blaming us for what happened to their son? And she was like, I mean, but technically, we're the ones that hired Carrie in the first place. So is it not our fault? Because I mean, that's the only way that she had access to the school. And he was like, listen, regardless of if we hired her or not, if she really wanted to kidnap somebody, she would have done it either way, by any means necessary. What I don't want you to do is go over there and start apologizing, because then that's going to open up the door for all types of legalities, okay? And we don't need that. Any lawyers in the house, y'all, if y'all are listening, is that legit? Can they do that? I mean, maybe if you go over there and seem remorseful, then I mean that could go both ways, but I feel like that would bring her around to the idea of, you didn't do this. Or at least that's the way that I would think about it. Y'all let me know. So over at Rissa's, y'all, the detectives finally show up to speak to them, and they show them a picture of Carrie, right? And they ask the crowd if any of them know her. And not sure if anybody else aside from Anna lies, but everybody seems to deny that they know her, including Anna. And I was like, girl, are you kidding me? Y'all was literally like besties like 2 months ago. But it seems like I said, everybody's holding secrets. So we gonna hold this one for a little bit longer. So they then discuss possible motives, right? Why would she want to kidnap Milo? Well, Colin points out that, I mean, let's state the obvious here. This is probably a ransom. I mean, you and Peter both work in finances. I forgot to tell y'all that Rissa is what is she? She's in wealth management, and I forgot what he does, y'all. But she's in wealth management and he does like something with finances. Okay. So maybe, even though I mean y'all are pretty secure financially, maybe it's not about that. Maybe they want more than that. Maybe they want the money and a little bit of leverage um from what y'all can do for them a little bit deeper down in those roots of what y'all do. Maybe they want that. Okay, well, how does this ransom thing work? And so the detective was like, well, usually they'll call you within the first 24 hours, but I mean, that's not always a guarantee, but that's usually how this works. They'll give you an amount of money, in a location, but y'all ain't received no phone calls, have you? Again, nobody says anything. Okay, no, we ain't received no phone calls. Okay, well, if it's not a ransom, then and the detectives don't say anything, but Marissa does. She jumps in and she says, well, maybe if they don't want the ransom, then maybe they want them for human trafficking. Both are horrible, y'all. I'm telling you, like, and he's a baby. He's only 5 years old. Can you imagine your kid crying out for you and you can't? Oh, man. I couldn't sleep. Couldn't sleep. So immediately Peter breaks down at the thought of it, and she tries to go over there and comfort him, but I mean, eventually he just snaps off and he says what all of us were thinking. Okay, what the hell were you thinking? Letting our son go out on a play date and you weren't there. You didn't verify the phone number. You didn't call her to see if that was even the right person. What were you thinking? And so he immediately realizes that this hurt her feelings, and so he tries to backtrack. But I mean, at this point, it is what it is. Now, granted, she is feeling guilty already. Don't kick her while she down, but let's put it out there in the open how awful you feel about the situation. That's your son. Like, we wouldn't even be at the house. We would be like outside, you hopping in the car with me because we finna go ride out. We finna go find Carrie. Like, we finna go do something. So his delivery wasn't great, but I mean, was he lying? So she storms out at the same time that Jenny is pulling up, right? And so she does exactly what Richie told her not to do. She immediately apologizes and she goes to comfort Marissa. And so when they walk back in together, y'all, at this point, things have changed because just a minute ago you said you didn't know Jenny like that, but then when you walk back in, now she's your friend? Huh? Er? What? Your friend? Y'all, they finna question her like nobody's business. Fast forward 27 days into the future. Like, that's so Raven. Y'all, the detectives have a woman in custody that's ready to talk. Even though they don't divulge her name to us, just know that it's a woman in custody. Custody. Maybe she might even be ready to give them the whole story. But they mentioned that everybody on their board, because they've got all of them up there, Marissa, Peter, Brian, Leah, Colin, Anna, Jenny, her husband, and maybe one other person. It's like 8 people up on the board. But he was like, these people seem like they're just so nice. Like, they would never think about knocking each other off, but here we are. It seems like a couple of people have been knocked off at this point, and I can't wait to find out who it is, y'all. But that's the way the first episode ends. It was pretty good. Pretty good introductory episode. But y'all let me know what y'all thought about it, okay? Who do you think took Milo? I feel like this is more than a one person type of situation. Somebody got paid off to do something. Now, initially, y'all, I'm not gonna lie. Okay? As much as I love Jay, as much as I love him, I'm not so sure about his character. Um, when he first came in, the way that he hugs Marissa and then the way that he hugged Peter, I was like, did him and Marissa ever have something in the past? Maybe it was a secret affair. Maybe he's a jilted lover. Maybe he set it up to kidnap Milo. Maybe he's doing it because he wants her spot at the job. I don't know. I know that they're trying to pin this on Anna and how she initially had said that Milo was such a good kid and how he was super perfect and the way that she looked at him. That's a red herring, y'all. I don't think she had anything to do with it. And then at one point in time, I was thinking maybe it was Sarah, stepping on toes and I don't know. But y'all let me know what y'all thought about it, okay? You can reach me at Me and You TV Reviews on Facebook and on Instagram. You can also reach me at My TV Reviews Podcast without the S on the end at gmail.com. I love y'all, okay? I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful start to your weekend. Y'all please stay safe out there. And until we meet over the airwaves again, I am Mo, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.